Welcome everyone to the Ultimate tier list. This one is gonna help you if you are uncertain which version you are getting from Planet Zoo, especially now with the console edition being announced and soon to be released. I'm gonna help you to choose which one you should get. You are overwhelmed with a couple of options. So this tier list is not only my personal preference, I'm also going through each and every update and going to say why I think it's good, for who it's going to be good, because obviously these updates are good or bad depending on your own preference. Now, let's get things started, and as promised, I will go through everything, as I said, step by step. I have a list next to me because frankly I also don't remember every single animal, and we're going to start from left to right. It's not in the chronological order, it is just random, and we're going to start with the Africa pack. And the Africa pack is a very good head start, and it's gonna go into great for me, which is an odd one because the base game already comes with an African pack, an African theme, so to say, and also it comes already with some African animals. However, the African continent just has a lot of animals. So we're going to start off calling out the names of the animals that you are greeted with. So it's going to be the southern white rhino, it's the African penguin, the meerkat, the fennec fox, and the sacred scarab beetle. Now, as you know, my personal opinion about the exhibits is like, well, skip, I guess, but they're in, so we always have in these animal packs a exhibit animal, so for me personally it doesn't really matter which one it is. I'm also going to just say something about the animals we get and obviously about the pieces we get. I think the African theme in the African pack is among the best packs to have when you are a builder. If you like building in this game, or if you are thinking you will like building on the console edition, this is the pack to go with. It is an inevitable and it is an absolutely amazing pack to build with all the different plaster pieces. The whole plaster, the whole theme in game, the plaster theme, is by far the most complete theme. If every theme would be so complete with so many different pieces, that would be absolutely amazing, but that is ridiculous. I think the animals are fine, really good. You get a new enrichment piece by the tunnel, so very nice indeed, and it's an absolute banger for me. Now the aquatic pack, well there, it used to be in the great for me, but I have to bring it down to the goods. Now, after all the time I have been convinced by the people telling me and making me aware of the fact that maybe we are a little bit spoiled by the fact that we, well, had this with the update of Deep Dive. But in fact, the Deep Dive is not necessarily anything you can add to the DLC, because the DLC is not required for the Deep Dive mechanic. And by now, to the time being, it was a great pack for me because you literally had the only diving animals in this pack. I mean, except the, I think it was the normal croc. But other than that, now you had the king penguin in here, the great seal, the giant otter, and the dwarf caiman, alongside one of the more usable exhibit animals in my opinion, the diamondback terrapin. It definitely is a good pack. However, and this is something we have to point out here, the aquatic theme isn't particularly the greatest, except the rocks. I mean, the 4 rocks in this set are absolutely amazing. But with all the different rocks and stuff, you know, released along the time, along the way of the free updates, I can't really put it into the great anymore because neither the pieces nor the animals are great. So both are very good, and it, you know, I should really put it somewhere in the middle here, but that's not possible. So definitely it's somewhere between great and good for me. But yeah, we have to be a bit more picky so you guys have a better idea. Now let's go to the next pack, and the next pack is a very easy one. Skip it. This is the last reason I had for this Arctic pack was the fact that this pack had the only wooden pieces that were non-climbable. And if you build a lot, you know that climbable pieces are a pain to build with if you want to build a wooden structure with animals that can climb. So this was the go-to pack for me to use the wooden pieces for the basic frame and for the ground stuff so that the animals couldn't climb it, and so up on the higher level I could build with every wooden piece I wanted to. But now, as we have the in-game feature that every console user will get right off the bat, is obviously the toggle for climbing, you can do the same with every single wood piece. So literally, if you are obsessed with polar bears, then get the pack. but everything else you can skip, okay? So you get the polar bear, the dole sheep, the Arctic wolf, and the reindeer with it. So it's the only pack that only contains 4 animals. So you don't even get a exhibit animal. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of exhibit animals. However, you don't get any. So also price value wise, it's not really the bestest anyways. One positive note to point out though, you get a couple of new enrichment education boards that you otherwise wouldn't have in the game, but well, I think that's that. Now, the next thing is the conservation pack. And the conservation pack, oh boy, this is a very hard one for me. I'm gonna put this also into the good, definitely. Even though it would definitely rank a lot below the aquatic pack, to be honest. And that is definitely because of it's so hard to say. For me, it's because of the animals, but then again, the animals are kind of cool. So you get the Przewalski horse, the Amur leopard, the siamang, the Skimmer horned oryx, and the axolotl. So now, actually, you know what, reading out these animals now, I should say it's definitely on par with the aquatic pack. It's just not enough to go into the grade, because one thing that is definitely absolutely a must-have is the pieces. So the pieces in this one are really great. They are almost, like, they're really usable, a lot of good backstage stuff. So if you're obsessed with realism, if you want to build realistic stuff, this might actually be even a great pack for you, because it has so many backstage props. So yeah, definitely a very good one to consider. You don't really do anything wrong getting this pack, to be honest. But and also, and just to point it out, with the Binturong, you obviously get a very cool animal with some unique climbing animations that others don't have. So definitely a very cool pack when it comes to the animals in there. The Amur leopard is also the only leopard that has this very unique cat-like lying animation on a log. So where it's just like where one paw and the tail is just wiggling to the side and just like relaxing. I don't really know why other big cats don't have it. Maybe I missed that they brought that in for every cat, but I think they didn't. So I must say that this one really, animal-wise, brings in a lot of unique animations. Okay, now the next one is the Australia pack, and I'm gonna put this to okay right away. Actually, you could have even put it into boring, I think, but I just like the animals too much, and I think you will do too. So the southern cassowary, the red kangaroo, the koala, the dingo, and the eastern blue-tongued lizard, again, the exhibit animals skip. However, the southern cassowary brings in a big bird, which looks like a dinosaur and sounds absolutely terrifying, but the sounds obviously is great. The red kangaroo and the koala both come with this cool pouch animation of the babies crawling out of the pouch and so on. Very lovely. We just for a brief second thought that this would be a change to the game where new birth animation and maybe eggs were added later, but never were, so don't get your hopes up too high. You get a new enrichment item with the water pool. To be honest, it's not like the greatest, not really one you need. And also the Australian theme is one of the more themed ones, and if you have been around for longer, you know that the more themed a theme pack is, speaking that out loud sounds ridiculous, but the more themed a theme pack is, the less or the lesser usable it is. Which makes sense, because the more versatile pieces are, they have to be generic. And this is what makes the African pack and another one, or actually 2 other ones that will be named out in the later stage of the video, are a lot better. Now, I do think that this pack still will have its fans, but as the theming is too high on most of the pieces, and there are very few pieces flexicolor in there, I definitely have to put it on okay. From the pieces, I would already put it on boring, to be honest, but the animals are just good and very, very important zoo animals, so that's why it's definitely in the okay. Now, the next thing will potentially surprise a couple of people, and this is potentially my biggest failure and then correction. Well, actually, no, there's a bigger one later on, but hold on. This is going to be a great pack. The Twilight pack. Again, as I said, some people may actually be a bit surprised by it, because I do know that this may not be the fan favorite, but I want to give you an idea on where to put your money. And this one, for me personally, is great for both type of players. If you're a casual player and you're just in for the animal, you get a couple of very, very good zoo animals. You get the raccoon, the red fox, the common wombat, the striped skunk, and the Egyptian fruit bat. You get one of the single packs that has obviously a walkthrough exhibit animal, which makes the exhibit animal for once a great animal, because that is finally something to add to your zoo. You get the raccoon, which is a super cool and a super usable zoo animal. You get the red fox, which potentially has the best fur variations in the game of all animals. You get the common wombat, which is a wombat and it's cute, so whatever. And you've got the scrapped skunk, which yet again is another very cool zoo animal. And what's also pretty cool about all 4 habitat animals is they're all pretty small. And in the greater scheme of this game, small animals are not that often represented in there, and you very much need them for all of your zoos. So for me personally, the range of animals in here is amazing, especially when you consider the bigger picture of which animals we already had in the game. And now we come to the foliage and the pieces. And this is where it ranges amongst the best, if not the best. I was absolutely blown away by the fact how versatile and usable the pieces are. They have the best, one of the best textures in the entire game. There are small pieces in, there are big pieces in, there are a lot of stone pieces in. Basically everything is flexicolor. You get a couple of very thin and small metal pieces. Absolutely amazing pack. And this is why I think this is one of the greatest packs, where I have been so wrong. I thought Twilight pack is one of these packs that just doesn't fit the game. They just came in with this kind of gothic style castle, and I was like, yeah, that's not a theme park, you know, it's a zoo. What shall I do with the theming pack? Hold on, they have proven me wrong. My god, is that a good pack with so many great pieces. And then you get a couple of cool glowing pieces, which you can use for some glowing signs if you want. So absolutely go-to pack for me. You have to get it. So the next one, deluxe edition, all the way back to skip it. The animals are kind of meh. You don't get a real piece. It's only three animals in there. Whatever. It is absolutely, you can skip it. Also, as much as I like the Komodo dragon, to be honest, because it's one of the coolest lizards in the game, the other ones you can just pretty much skip, and there's nothing else, you know. You don't get a piece, you don't get an enrichment item, you don't get anything. So defo skip it. Defo skip it. Okay. Next up is our latest pack, released in December last year, is the Eurasia Animal Pack, which came with the wild boar, the mute swan, the sloth bear, the wolverine, the saiga, the takin, and Harmon's tortoise. Now, that's a very hard one for me. I would put it actually into the okay. It is definitely one of the best animal packs. However, I don't know. We kind of get an aquatic animal with the mute swan, which definitely the swan is a very, very cool animal, a new one. But we don't really get anything else. We don't get a semi-aquatic animal. We don't get a real new climbing animation animal. We don't get a monkey. We don't get anything like that. We got a lot of very solid animals, and yeah, I don't even know if I would. It's very much on the split between it's okay and good. This is definitely one. It's definitely on the lowest end of good, but it would actually very high in okay. It's more than okay, but yeah, I can't really say too much about this. Yeah, I don't really know. It's a lot of good animals, very good zoo animals, especially if you want to build like a European classic zoo. There are some must-haves in there. But other than that, I can't really say too much about this. Now, let's get into the Europe pack. The Europe pack, my god. This is my biggest failure, and it has to go into the grade. The Europe pack was the one pack where I, personally, have been super upset and disappointed when the announcement came. Usually, as a creator, we get these things like a couple of hours earlier, like mostly when there is like a free update. A couple of hours later, we get a mail with like a couple of info, not all info, but a couple of info for the DLC release. So some things like that. Sometimes in the past was done, but I was really kind of, I don't know. Yeah, as you know, we sometimes get early access. So I was really disappointed. I didn't even want to make a video about this because, being Europe, all of these animals are kind of along my alley anyways because I know them, but that doesn't mean I want to have them in the game. And once we got actual early access on the game and I saw the animals in game and I saw the pieces, I was proven so dramatically wrong. so dramatically wrong that I had to completely do an apology video to say how great it is. And honestly, I feel still very sorry for being so negative about this, because the quality of the animals in this pack, I would still call it the best pack when it comes to animal quality. We've got the European fallow deer in there, the Alpine ibex, the Eurasian lynx, the European badger, and the fire salamander. Again, as always, skip that exhibit animal. But oh my goodness me, the Eurasian lynx may still be the best cat in the game. European badger is amazingly done. The ibex is, it's spot on. It's so good. The sound design is ridiculously great. And we got an absurdly versatile and great building pack. The building pieces in here are so good, so must-haves. Everything in there is usable. I think this is the pack with the highest rate of flexicolor pieces, if I'm not completely wrong. I really am still blown away by this pack, and it absolutely is crushing it. Really great, really great must-have pack. Okay, let's go into the wetlands animal pack, and that one has to go... yeah, I'm gonna put it into okay. I'm being very generous over here, because I think that the quality overall is very good, but I have to, you know, it has the Asian small-clawed otter, it has the capybara, it has got the Nile lechu, the platypus, the red-crowned crane, the speckled caiman, the wild water buffalo, and as an exhibit animal, the noob crest newt. Now, actually, maybe it could actually go into the good, thinking about this, because if I rate this now to the versatility of animals, you definitely get a couple of semi-aquatic animals, you get some very cool habitat animals, obviously you get the capybara, what am I here to say that's bad, but this definitely is, obviously it's called Wetlands Animals Pack, so you have a lot of animals that go into the water, but then again, I have to say, it just kind of felt a little bit weird. Some of these animals, like, should have been in other packs maybe, and it felt like a pack where animals that didn't make it into another pack made it into this pack. This is why I'm putting it into the okay. For me personally, it is a lot of good animals, but there's not a standout one in here. Just as I was talking about the Eurasian lynx, which just completely blew me off. So for example, the Asian small-clawed otter obviously is it's a great animated model. It's really nicely done. But it doesn't really have that much unique animations compared with the giant otter, and that being said, like small-clawed Asian otters would actually bring the opportunity to do stuff. And honestly, the fact that they still require a 3 meter or 2 meter by now, but back in the day they required a 3 meter deep water, which was just like they always looked lost in their water bottom. So whatever. So definitely giving that an okay one. Now, the next thing being the grassland animal pack, and it is being saved by, oh gosh, I really, where do I put this again? No, I have to put it into the okay too, because of the other stuff, but it definitely is being saved, and just don't get me wrong, it is being saved by the exhibit animal. That's so weird to say after the whole video, but it is another walkthrough exhibit animal, and this time around we got butterflies. And this is what saves the pack from getting into the boring, because it definitely is absolutely amazing to see butterflies. It sounds ridiculous, but this just adds so much to this game. You can either use the butterflies with the null variant of the habitat as like atmosphere ambience animals if you want. You can use that as ambience in your gardens. Just put these things in the gardens and make people walk through, and then change up the design a little, and you get like wonderful ambience in your grasslands, for example. But you can also do greenhouses finally with some cool animals in there and have some butterflies flying around, you know. That is something that adds a whole other level to this game. And this is why it's saved in the okay. But the rest, for me personally, was kind of okay, but then again, nothing really outstanding. We have the 9-banded armadillo in here, the maned wolf, the emo, the caracal, the red-necked wallaby, the striped hyena, the blue wildebeest, and then all the different versions of the butterflies. And I must say, as much as I like this for that, it just... like all the other animals were like already kind of in the game as in a different version, you know. We had the cassowary and then it's the emo, the maned wolf is kind of cool, but the dingo and so on was similar. The armadillo being that one is, you know, redneck wallaby, we already had kangaroo and koala. So you get the idea. If you like these animals, it may be ranking higher for you, but in terms of how much it adds to the game, I have to be fair. Okay, let's go into the next one, which is the North American Animal Pack. And yeah, to be fair, that one goes into the good for me. It kind of seemed a little bit boring at the beginning, but we have to admit that there was a huge lack of Northern American animals. And we obviously get a couple of really great ones. We get the moose, we get the American alligator, we got the cougar, another very great looking cat. We got the North American beaver, the Arctic fox, which with some very cool fur variants. We got the black-tailed prairie dog and the Californian sea lion. Why do I think it's a good pack? It's because of the versatility of the animals. Because the moose is a very giant habitat animal. The alligator kind of finally added an alligator to the croc roster. The cougar is a very nice looking cat with some cool climbing animations. The North American beaver came with a very unique and nice looking enrichment item, being the beaver dam. The Arctic fox is a cute kind of tiny little habitat animal. The prairie dog being even more tiny, and the Californian sea lion is another cool semi-aquatic animal for your water things you're building, and then you also got a couple of cool plants with it. So definitely in the good for me. Now, the Oceania pack, and the question I was debating if it's gonna be a great pack for me or a good pack, and I'm still a little bit on the split side. But I think I have to put it on the great. And if it was for my personal preferences, I would put it on good. But with like the judgment I've done so far, I have to put it into the great. Because I can't judge it upon me being just not the biggest fan of the animals in there. It just brought a couple of things to the game that is absolutely amazing. So, first of all, I have to admit, the building items are really, really, really great. I'm using them a lot, and there are so many cool pieces with a lot of flexi-color to it. Absolutely murders it. It's really absolutely great. So definitely the building pack is what makes it really go into the great. But then the animals that come with it is the North Island brown kiwi, the Tasmanian devil, the little penguin, the quokka, and the spectacled flying fox. Now, first of all, it might be the most tiny pack of all. So if you take all the animals, they're all very tiny. But yet again, you get a bird, you get a very cool habitat animal with the Tasmanian devil, you get a semi-aquatic one with the little penguin, you get a cute one with the quokka, and you even get a flying one and a very cool walkthrough exhibit one with the flying fox. So every need is kind of fulfilled. And this is why I have to say it's a great pack, because there are packs that definitely do not match these points, and I can't judge this upon my personal preference over the animals, because maybe you are a big fan of the Tasmanian devil or the little penguin. And as I said, they have basically for every different element of the game brought one new animal to it. And as I said, the building pieces are ridiculous. Okay, now we're gonna go over to the next pack, which is the South American pack, and this one's gonna go into the boring. I would have put this one into the it's okay, but in the greater scheme of things, I now have to judge it in a different way. And this is because the building theme is good. It's definitely good. The building theme would have been into the good, maybe in the okay. Great pieces, but a lot of these are not flexi-color, so maybe that's not that. But now let's get to the animal. We have the Colombian white-faced capuchin monkey, the giant anteater, the jaguar, the llama, and the red-eyed tree frog, which being the exhibit animal, it is kind of okay, but again, exhibit animal, skip. The llama is kind of cool, but the time it came out, it didn't have the cool fur variants. Now it has. Obviously, you guys buying it for console or buying it today, you will have the chance to obviously get this already in the game. And then we also have the jaguar. And the jaguar unfortunately suffers from the same issue like the lion and the other base game cats and animals. They don't look as realistic as they should. I'm very sorry, because I feel like Frontier has really, really upgraded their level of detail, especially when it comes to the big cats and the cats in general. They had a major makeover. If you look at the cats, the caracal, the Eurasian lynx, as I said, I mean, they are absolutely on point. They look flawless, perfect, great. But then if you put like a jaguar next to it, it looks a bit like comic-y, you know. The fur variants and stuff, like, spot on, no pun intended, but really, really great. But yeah, it just doesn't click with me. And now, in comparison to all the other packs, we have to put it into the boring, I'm afraid. The only thing, if you like a very plant-based person, and I'm not even speaking about nutrition, then this is definitely a good pack for you, because it came with a lot of cool tropical packs. But hold on to that thought for a second, because you may want to spend your money a bit more wisely. Okay, next one is the Southeast Asia Animal Pack. Hard one for me, because I think I should put it into the boring, but I got to put it into the okay. Like, as I said, the overall quality of the Planet Zoo packs for me personally is great. So this is why it's very hard to put something into boring. The only two skip-its were obvious, but the other one is kind of hard. But yeah, this one comes with the binturong, the Malayan tapir, the clouded leopard, the proboscis monkey, the dhole, the sun bear, and the North Sulawesi babi rusa. Okay, so the good thing about this pack is it comes with a lot of different variants from animals, like being the binturong with a very cool, unique climbing animation. We have the Malayan tapir, which finally is being fixed now, which is great. Back at the time, it was like just a bait tapir scaled up with a different color. The clouded leopard, a very cool cat. It is a bit in between the greatest cats and, well, the weak cats, but it's cool. The proboscis monkey, basically for me a very fun one, because it is swimming, one of the swimming animals with a cool swimming animation, but also pretty cool climbing animation. The dhole is kind of cool. The sun bear is kind of cool with the unique kind of hammock enrichment item that came with the pack, and the babi rusa looks kind of fun too. But other than that, there was really nothing too positive or too negative to say about this one. Now, let's get into a very, very hard one for me personally, because it brought me in and I still have to put it into the boring, I'm afraid, because I have to judge it upon, you know, what I've just said. So let me just put that out straight. The amazing quality of these animals should not be denied. The Arid pack has a super high level of detail when it comes to the animals, but let me just give you the point why I put it into the boring. There is not a single animal in this pack that came, well, there is one, but there is not enough that makes it stand out. There is one animal in, I would say this is worth it, but the others is simply not. So let's go through the animal list, and I'm going to tell you then which is the one that you should get it for if you are a fan of this animal. Now, the dromedary camel, it's not the one you should go for, but the addax, it's not too. The dama gazelle, nope. The sand cat, nope. The black rhino, nope. The Somali wild ass, nope. Then obviously our exhibit friend, the desert horned viper, absolutely no. But the last one being the African crested porcupine. The porcupine it is. This one is great. It comes with a completely new set of animations. It looks amazing. The whole animal looks really cool. It is a very fan favorite zoo animal. Yes, definitely. But if you consider all the other animals, they are based on a rig that already is in the game. Camel being camel, the gazelles, then we have the rhino, we have the Somali wild ass, which is basically a reskinned zebra, and the sand cat being like a scaled down cat, even though the sand cat comes with a couple of new animations. But don't get me wrong, even those two in boring are very great, and you don't really make anything wrong with your money. The only thing you make something wrong with your money are these two down here, but the other ones are not. I'm just rating them upon maybe the chronicle order. You should get them. If you don't have money enough to get them all at once, well, actually then just get them after each other and after this list. But that's just what I'm thinking. Okay, last but not least, before we come to a conclusion, is the tropical pack. Also one of the more recent ones, released in April last year, which was a very interesting one for me, because I think it didn't really click that much with most people, but I think it's a very good one. I'm gonna put it into good. It's definitely not great, and it would also rank a little bit lower into the good area. However, it comes in with the fossa, a very interesting animal, a lar gibbon, which is a very cool one because that was our first gibbon. We have the red river hawk, the Asian water monitor, and the brown-throated sloth. So again, after my rating, I have to say we have yet again all areas, you know, checkbox. So we obviously have the climbing animal, we have a semi-aquatic one, and we have obviously a sloth. However, this is the reason why I'm gonna put this maybe in the good, is definitely because the sloth didn't really, you know, fulfill its premise, because the walkthrough exhibit is not as versatile as it should be. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but other than that, it's really good. However, when it comes to spending your money on tropical plants, you definitely do not go with the South America pack, you go with the tropical pack, because the pieces in this pack are okay, but the plants in this pack are amazing. They are the ones to go with, and this is why it doesn't rank into the great, because it's not like all over great pieces, but it has a lot of great pieces, and specifically the plants and stuff. So yes, I'm a fan of this one. But as you can see, look how many rank into the great until the it's okay one. And as I said, even if you consider it's okay, it's definitely very okay. Now, as for all of these, if you already own Planet Zoo, but you don't own all of these packs, or you want to get one now after my rating, please use the link in the description for my instant gaming. Because if you click on the link of instant gaming and you buy within, for example, 30 days on this platform, you purchase this directly from me, and also with this, you're going to help me reach the amount of sales I should have in a month, and also you'll get these for an amazing value. And there is very rarely a moment where instant gaming isn't the cheapest option. I've been asked a couple of times if this is a serious site or whatever. Yes, it is. It is absolutely legal and serious site. They just have a couple of, like, if you don't know how this is working, just to give you quickly the idea before we do a final sign off here, they always purchase a certain amount of keys. This is also why they can run out of stock, as seen with, unfortunately seen with the latest pack where they had a little bit of an issue. They just buy a certain amount which they are allowed to sell for a lower value. This is how it works, and this is why it absolutely makes sense. Now, again, use that link. You can see they're all very low at the moment, super low prices. I think none of these are above €5 anymore, so you can really get these you don't own anymore, or you don't own yet. You can really grab them easily, and you can also pre-order and get this console version via this site as soon as they have this. I'm not sure if they, you know, I don't know if you're watching the video, maybe they already have the console version in there, but you know, whatever. I'm not sure when you're watching this. But now, as a final sign off, I want to give you one very important note. Except these 4 down here, no matter which pack you're going for, either with the console version or the PC version, you don't do anything wrong. And I want to take this moment, this is a long video anyways, and if you have made it through here, you better stick with me till the end, because you're great, and also this will give you some very good ideas. Now, this is a fantastic game. I have been very vocal about problems and changes, but this is just because I love the game. And if you look at the entire gaming market and you see how much other companies charge for their updates and what you get for that, there is not a single DLC on this game except the Arctic one. I would even have the slightest issue recommending this. And yes, I know I am getting them for free, these updates, but trust me, I've purchased more than enough, because I've given them away as giveaways, and sometimes I didn't get any keys as a giveaway, so I think I've purchased more than all the packs, but that's not the point. The point is that I also, in another life, you know, I also needed to buy games, and I still need to buy games in most of the other genres because I don't get any keys from others, so I know the value of what you get. And this game offers an amazing value for what you are paying. And this is, yeah, I mean, just look at that. If you pay like $9.99, which is the price usually when it drops, and you get 5 animals and 250 pieces. And if you just divide that, you know, maybe take 5-5, because both are weighted the same, €5 for the animals and €5 for the pieces. Usually you end up with like €1 per animal, and you end up with like, what was that, 5 cents per piece or so. I mean, look at Sims or so. Where do you get that? It is absolutely fair, and specifically with instant gaming and the prices right now, it's a no-brainer. If you have a couple of euros spare, get an update for Planet Zoo. It adds so much value, or DLC for Planet Zoo. It adds so much value to your game. It's ridiculous. I have to really be so positive here. And hopefully this ranking helped you to decide which one you're gonna get. So if you own a console version by now, or you have pre-ordered this, first of all, congrats. Finally, you're in the family, and I am mega happy to welcome you. And also, second of all, if you will get that in the future, this is my list for you. And yeah, as I said, just a reminder, if you need any of those, go to my instant gaming link in the description, get yourself a DLC, be happy. And other than that, have a great week. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know your ranking in the comments. Thank you so much, and goodbye.